Okay, so you know how getting ready for the IELTS can feel a little overwhelming?
Yeah.
Especially if you're, aiming for that really high band score.
Absolutely.
There's just so much out there. It's like, where do you even begin?
Right.
Well, that's why we're doing this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going through this expert guide and picking out the most valuable tips.
Yeah, the nuggets.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the gold nuggets.
The gold nuggets that'll really help you succeed.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of this stuff was mind-blowing even for me.
Oh, really?
Did you know that watching movies with subtitles can help your listening score?
That's interesting.
I know, right?
I didn't know that.
And the guide talks about specific vocabulary techniques that the IELTS actually rewards.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just about learning any old words, it's about learning the right ones.
That makes sense.
And one thing that really jumped out at me was how much the guide emphasizes understanding the structure of the test.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about your English skills.
Right.
It's about knowing how to play the IELTS game.
Exactly. You got to know the rules.
You got to know the rules.
Yeah.
So let's break down the test format just a little bit.
Okay.
We've got the 4 sections.
Yeah.
Listening, reading, writing, and speaking.
Right.
Each one is like its own little challenge.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it's important to remember that the academic and general training versions,
Oh, yeah.
they actually have some differences.
Yes, especially in the reading and writing sections.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so knowing which version you're taking,
Right.
that is super crucial for your prep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the guide then goes into these really specific strategies
Okay.
for each section, which I think is super helpful for anyone feeling overwhelmed.
For sure.
What really stood out to you in the listening section?
Well, you know what I thought was really practical was the advice about practicing with different accents.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's one thing to understand English in a classroom setting.
Yeah.
But hearing it spoken with all these different accents at natural speed.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other ball game.
That's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see how that would really boost your confidence on test day.
Oh, for sure.
And they also had some interesting stuff to say about note-taking
Oh, yeah.
during the listening section. I used to think that was just for lectures or meetings.
Right.
But the guide makes a good case for using it here too.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
We often underestimate the power of note-taking.
We do.
But it's a fantastic way to actually engage with what you're hearing.
Right?
And it really does improve your memory.
Yeah.
In fact, just the other week, I was at this conference.
Wait, hold on. You got to tell me about this conference.
Oh, it wasn't anything too exciting.
Yeah?
Just an education conference.
Yeah.
But the keynote speaker was going a mile a minute.
Oh, no.
And I realized I was not retaining anything.
Yeah.
So I started jotting down some key points, phrases.
Right.
And it was like my brain suddenly switched on.
Wow.
I could follow the argument so much better.
That's awesome.
I even remembered specific examples afterwards.
That's amazing.
It was crazy.
That is a great example of how a simple technique like that
Yeah,
can make a real difference even outside of the IELTS context.
absolutely.
So let's move on to the reading section.
Okay.
Time management is key.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Time is your enemy in that reading section.
You're racing against the clock.
You are racing against the clock.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to find information quickly and efficiently.
Right.
So the guide has some really useful tips about skimming and scanning,
Oh, yeah.
which can help you navigate those long passages
Right.
without getting bogged down.
It's about finding what you need.
Exactly.
Without getting lost in the weeds.
That's it.
Yeah, and the guide also talks about being familiar with different types of texts.
Yes.
Like reading articles and reports, even stuff online.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of things.
Yep.
The more diverse your reading habits are,
Mm-hmm.
the better equipped you'll be to handle the variety of texts in the IELTS.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this is where I think one of the most crucial skills comes in.
Oh, really?
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Now that word, I'll admit,
Yeah.
always makes me think of those awkward rewrites we used to do in school to avoid plagiarism.
Right.
But the guide makes it sound like it's so much more than that.
Oh, it is so much more than that.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing is about showing that you really understand the information
Okay.
and can express it in your own words,
Oh, I see.
which is something the IELTS examiners are really looking for,
Okay.
especially in the writing section.
So it's not just about swapping out a few words.
No.
It's about showing a deeper understanding of the meaning.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
I actually used paraphrasing just the other day.
Oh, tell me about it.
I was writing this email to a friend, and I was trying to explain this really complicated concept I had read about.
Yeah.
And I realized that if I just copied and pasted what I'd read,
Right.
it would be way too confusing for her.
Huh.
So I had to like really think about the main points
Yeah.
and rephrase them in a way that made sense for someone who wasn't familiar with the topic.
That's a perfect example.
Right.
And that skill will serve you incredibly well in the IELTS.
I hope so.
Especially in the writing section,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, tends
Right.
to make people sweat a little.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
All right.
Writing section.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get intimidated by this one.
Oh, for sure.
It can be daunting,
Yeah.
but the guide provides a really clear breakdown of what they're looking for.
Yeah, it breaks it down.
Yeah,
Emphasizes the importance of a clear structure.
that makes sense.
Yeah. You want your writing to be easy to follow.
Easy to follow.
Yeah.
And of course, using a diverse vocabulary is key.
Oh, absolutely.
About showing off your range.
Yeah, show off those words.
But the guide also has a whole section on grammar,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little surprising
I really.
because I thought the IELTS was more about fluency and communication.
Well, of course, fluency and communication are important.
Yeah.
But grammar is the foundation
Right.
of clear and effective writing.
Right.
Even small grammatical errors can affect your score
Oh, wow.
because they can hinder understanding.
So it's not just about sounding impressive.
Wow.
It's about making sure your meaning is crystal clear.
Exactly.
That's a good reminder for me because I know I tend to
Yeah.
get a little casual with my grammar sometimes.
We all have our areas to work on,
Yeah, we do.
but the guide is great.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't just point out the pitfalls.
Right.
It offers practical advice on how to improve.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, for example.
You know, one thing that really struck me about the writing section
Yeah.
was the emphasis on getting feedback. I think a lot of people, myself included, we kind of shy away from that.
It's natural to feel a little vulnerable,
Right.
sharing your writing.
Yeah.
But feedback is so valuable.
Yeah.
Whether it's from a teacher, a tutor,
Uh-huh.
or even just a friend who's good with language.
Right.
Getting that outside perspective
Yeah.
can really help you see things that you might miss.
Yeah. Like a fresh pair of eyes
Exactly.
to catch those little errors or awkward phrasings.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so we've tackled listening and reading.
Uh-huh.
We've dipped our toes into the writing section.
Yeah.
Let's move on to speaking.
Okay.
This one's all about thinking on your feet, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You got to be quick.
You gotta be quick.
Yeah.
The speaking section is where you show off your ability to communicate
Right.
fluently, effectively.
Like you're in a real conversation.
Exactly.
So the guide has some good tips on practicing for this section,
Mm-hmm.
even if you don't have a speaking partner,
Right.
which I thought was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always thought practice for speaking meant like finding someone to chat with.
Well, they recommend talking to yourself.
Really?
I know it sounds a little silly,
Yeah.
but it's a great way to get comfortable expressing your thoughts out loud.
Right.
You can practice describing things.
Okay.
Talk about your day, anything, really.
Just keep those vocal cords working.
Exactly. Keep those vocal cords moving.
And the guide also mentions recording yourself,
Oh, yeah.
which always makes me cringe a little.
I know, me too.
But I can see how it would be helpful.
It can be a bit awkward at first.
Yeah.
But listening back to recordings of yourself,
Right.
it's one of the best ways to identify areas for improvement.
Yeah, like what kind of things?
Well, you might notice that you're speaking too quickly
Okay.
or using a lot of filler words.
Like, and,
Exactly.
yeah.
Or maybe you're not pronouncing certain words correctly.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so it's all about becoming more aware of your speaking habits
Okay.
and then making those little adjustments.
Right. That can make a big difference.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered some really practical strategies for each section,
Mm-hmm.
but the guide also talks about some broader approaches to IELTS prep.
Yeah, it does.
Right. What stood out to you in that area?
Well, we've touched on it a few times already, but time management
Oh, yeah.
is crucial.
Time management is key.
It's absolutely crucial for success in the IELTS.
For sure.
The guide really stresses practicing under timed conditions.
Right.
It's one thing to be able to answer the questions,
Right.
but it's another thing to do it within the time limit.
Right. I remember when I first took a practice test,
Oh, tell me about it.
I was like, oh my gosh.
I think we all have those deer in the headlights moments
We do.
when we first experience the time pressure.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why the guide emphasizes timed practice.
Right.
The more you do it, the less anxious you'll feel on test day.
It's like training your brain
Exactly.
to work quickly and efficiently.
That's it.
You're like in a real life situation where you're under pressure.
Exactly.
Okay. And another overarching strategy is vocabulary expansion. Right.
Absolutely. A strong vocabulary is essential for all 4 sections.
For sure.
And the guide goes beyond just memorizing words.
Okay.
It offers all sorts of strategies for building a vocabulary that you can actually use.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. They talk about things like actively using new words, creating flashcards, keeping a vocabulary notebook.
Oh, yeah.
I actually started a vocabulary notebook a while back.
Oh, nice.
It's been really helpful.
Yeah.
It's like having my own little personalized dictionary.
What was that?
Of words I want to learn and remember.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of vocabulary notebooks myself.
Yeah.
It's not just about writing down the word and the definition.
Right.
It's about engaging with them.
Right.
You know, writing example sentences or even drawing little pictures to help you visualize the meaning.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's much more active than just staring at a list.
Yeah, for sure. And the guide emphasizes the importance of learning academic vocabulary.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes sense for the IELTS.
Right.
But they also point out that a wide-ranging vocabulary
Yeah.
can help you express yourself better in any situation.
Absolutely. It's like having a bigger toolbox
I like that.
of words to choose from,
Yeah.
which lets you be more precise and nuanced.
Right.
And, you know, one of the simplest but most effective ways to expand your vocabulary is to just read.
Oh, absolutely.
The more you read,
Yeah.
the more words you'll naturally pick up.
And I think that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
Practice tests.
Yes. Practice tests are essential.
Essential.
Yeah, they give you a chance to experience the format, the types of questions,
Right.
the time pressure.
It's like a dress rehearsal.
Exactly, a dress rehearsal for the real thing.
Yeah, and they're a great way to identify your strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I really liked about the guide's approach to practice tests was the emphasis on developing a growth mindset.
That's so important.
It is, right?
It's easy to get discouraged when you make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
But the guide encourages you to see those mistakes as opportunities
Yes.
for learning and growth.
It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about learning from your mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like each practice test is a stepping stone.
Yeah, a stepping stone to success.
So IELTS success.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
from section-specific strategies to these broader principles
Yeah,
that can really make a difference in your IELTS journey.
absolutely.
But I think one of the most powerful takeaways
Yeah,
is the emphasis on personalization,
that's so true.
right?
Yeah.
There's no one-size-fits-all
No,
approach
not at all.
to IELTS prep.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you.
And that's what we'll be diving into in the next part of this deep dive.
Okay.
We'll explore how to create a personalized study plan that plays to your strengths and helps you tackle those areas
Yes.
where you might need a little extra support.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so we've explored so many great strategies from this guide.
Yeah.
Everything from section-specific tips to those broader principles. But now the big question,
Yeah.
how do we take all this amazing advice
Right.
and actually create a study plan?
A personalized one.
Yes, a personalized study plan that works for you.
Exactly. Remember, there's no magic formula,
Right.
no one-size-fits-all approach.
It's about understanding your own needs and learning style.
Absolutely.
So the guide emphasizes self-awareness.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
step 1, know thyself.
Know thyself, exactly.
But how do we actually go about figuring out
Yeah.
our strengths and weaknesses in each section?
Well, think about your past experiences with English.
Okay.
What comes easily to you? What do you tend to struggle with?
Right.
Maybe you're a natural storyteller.
Yeah.
You feel super confident in the speaking section, but grammar rules just make your head spin.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe you love reading, you excel in the reading section, but writing feels like torture.
I think a lot of people, myself included,
Yeah.
we tend to focus on our weaknesses
Yeah, we do.
and kind of beat ourselves up about them.
Right. It's easy to get stuck in that negative mindset.
But this guide encourages a different approach.
It does.
Yeah.
Instead of dwelling on what you're not good at,
Yeah.
try shifting your perspective.
Okay.
Think about the skills you do have.
Right.
The areas where you naturally excel, those are your strengths.
Okay.
And those are going to be your secret weapons in the IELTS.
But it's not about ignoring our weaknesses.
No.
It's about acknowledging them, but focusing on our strengths.
Exactly. Finding that balance.
I like that it's much more positive and empowering.
Right.
Okay, so once we have a good understanding of our strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
then we can think about our learning style.
Exactly.
How do we absorb information best?
Right. Are you a visual learner?
Do you love diagrams and mind maps?
Or are you more of an auditory learner who likes listening to podcasts or lectures.
Right. Or maybe you're a kinesthetic learner.
Yeah,
Someone who learns by doing.
Right, by actually putting those skills into practice.
Absolutely. There's so many different ways to learn.
Yeah, and the guide does a good job of recognizing that.
It offers a wide range of techniques.
Yeah.
From traditional methods like flashcards to more interactive approaches like speaking practice with a partner.
Right.
Or simulating the test conditions.
Yeah, it's about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
And then incorporating those techniques into your study plan.
That's the key.
Okay, so let's say we've done our self-assessment.
Right.
We know our strengths and weaknesses. We've identified our learning style.
Yep.
And we've got this toolbox of techniques to choose from.
Right.
Now, how do we actually put this personalized plan into action?
The structure is key.
Just like you wouldn't go on a road trip without a map.
Right.
You don't want to approach IELTS prep without a clear plan.
So start by setting realistic goals for each week.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Right. Break it down into smaller chunks.
Yeah, manageable chunks.
And focus on maybe 1 or 2 skills at a time.
Right.
And consistency is so important.
Oh, it's crucial.
Right.
It's much better to study a little bit each day than to have those marathon cram sessions.
Oh, yeah, those are the worst.
The worst.
Right before the test.
Yeah, consistency is key to building momentum and really solidifying those skills.
It's like training for a marathon.
Exactly.
You wouldn't run 26 miles on your first day.
No way.
Right.
You'd start small, gradually increasing your distance over time.
And IELTS prep is the same way.
It is the same way.
It's about building those good habits.
Yeah.
And making them part of your routine.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a journey, not a sprint.
Oh, that's a good one.
There will be days when you feel super motivated. Yeah.
And days when you just want to do anything else.
That's so true.
That's normal.
Yeah.
The key is to be kind to yourself.
Right?
Celebrate those small wins along the way.
Love that.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, that's such a good point. The guide talks about seeking support.
Yes, having a support system can make all the difference.
Whether it's a teacher, a tutor, a language partner, even a friend.
Right.
Who's been through the IELTS.
Someone who understands what you're going through.
Exactly. Sometimes just talking through your challenges.
Yeah.
Or getting feedback on your progress can give you that boost.
That little boost you need.
To keep going.
Exactly. Remember, you're not alone in this.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to emphasize that you are capable of achieving your IELTS goals.
Absolutely. You've got this.
You have the tools, the strategies, and now you have the knowledge to create that personalized plan that sets you up for success.
And remember, this journey is about more than just a test score.
That's so true. It's about expanding your horizons.
Yeah.
Developing valuable skills and opening up new possibilities for your future.
So embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself and go make it happen.
Yes, go get them.
We're cheering you on every step of the way.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.